course, the cup, and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Manchester United 2, Fulham 1. Last EPL game of the season. Done and dusted. Put a wrap on it. United finished third place. We were nervy. It was nervy a couple weeks ago. Weren't confident that we're going to, slip up before the end of the season and not finish in the Champions League. Always been the third best team in England this year. I think it's well-deserved. United finished strong. Gives me more hope heading into that FA Cup final against a giant of a team in Man City that we built a little bit of confidence, getting a little bit of form. Casemiro looking back to his old self. Bruno creating chances for fun. Sancho looking good. Rashi gets a goal. Defense is going to be a challenge. De Gea is going to be working hard. But either way, United third in the EPL with a trophy to boot. And it's been a terrific season for Erik ten Hag. He's gotten everything thrown at him. Made a lot with a little, and here we go. EPL season's done. Can you believe it? 38 games down, sir, and we're the third best in the land. We want to be the first best in the land, but it's progress versus last year. Big progress.
I mean, huge progress from the man of the hour, Erik ten Hag, saluting the Old Trafford faithful as deserved, and with one big match, FA Cup final against Man City. I'm not afraid. Erik ten Hag isn't afraid, and these lads are not afraid. We're going to go into Wembley. We're not going to lay down and die. We're Manchester United. We never die, and we are the famous United. We are going to Wembley. Absolutely buzzing off a cup final, a third-place finish, a strong third from the lads, although it was a little bit of wake up, FC. Almost went down to De Gea with the huge stop on a penalty. I can count one hand how many penalties I've seen De Gea save at United, and he's been our keeper for a long time, and that was one that I feel will hopefully give the lads some lift because the come from behind, finishing strong, maybe we see something like that at Wembley, breeds of togetherness. There's good vibes around Old Trafford, especially with that speech from our manager, so great end to a hard-fought league. Ups and downs all around. Wout Weghorst had his sitter that he absolutely just blew
On a peach,
it that
Universe gave it to him, on a plate.
The manager giving him time just to give him time. He gets a sitter.
Oh my God!
Just all the feels were there today. A great morning. You see Leeds go down as well. You got it. We all hate Leeds scum. Seeing them go down. Obviously, the Americans that happen to play for Leeds. Sorry to the U.S. men's national team fans, but look, Leeds, they got to go down. Our buddy is a big Toffees fan. He was watching in New York with his son, celebrating the last day. Watching the drop zone is just unbelievable. And, what a season. I'm exhausted, honestly, like the Ronaldo drama to everything in between. And we had a patch where we thought we were going to be in a race, have a shout at it. Then we were fighting for top four. Now we're back. It's been 5 seasons in one from my perspective. So finishing strong is what matters. United did finish strong. I think we can build on this in the next season. I'm happy. I'm happy about the league, but I'm hungry for trophies, and I want us to beat City at the weekend.
Happy John. I like a happy John. This whinging coming. I just know it. I agree. This season's been a whirlwind. It's been a fucking roller coaster with the World Cup, with the amount of games we played, went deep in every cup competition we were in. And ultimately, there were some slip-ups. I think the squad depth, the injuries, the amount of games they caught up to us. But United, importantly, I think we finished strong when we needed to. We got some big results. We finished firmly in third place, and I think this gives us hope. And forget hope. Hope will kill you. Confidence. Gives us some momentum heading into that final. Because you know what? You said it a couple pods ago. City know that this is going to be the harder of the two. Inter, come on. They're going to suffocate Inter out of that game. They'll play Italian football and pack it in. But United at Wembley, that makes them a little nervous because we're Manchester United, baby. They're City, hollow club, nothing, Petro boys. But I think a little bit of confidence with our main players, feeling hot, De Gea, like you said, he had some big saves anyway, saving a great penalty, swung the game. We were back in it, and we won the game largely because of him. Because you go down 2, even at home, maybe we'd get a draw, but that was big for him. He's going to be very busy next weekend in London, without a doubt. Win, lose, or draw. And this game, this FA Cup final, of course I want to win it, but it's gravy. As long as we keep our head above water and don't get embarrassed, like, dude, we had a great season. This is a great season considering what happened last year, considering there was no investment in the winter. The Ronaldo drama, I don't need to talk about that no more. Remember that Piers Morgan interview? That was a classic. And there he goes. He's in Saudi Arabia. Didn't even win if it's not a farmers league, right? If League One's a farmers league, it's like a playground league. So shout out to Ronaldo. Enjoy the money. Manchester United, Reds, you can be proud of the display the boys put out today. And I'm proud of Erik ten Hag. We'll hear that his final words at Old Trafford. He feels like a Manchester United manager. I think he understands the weight of this club, the expectations, and the history. So, all in all, a long journey of a year. We got one game left. It's a big one. But EPL-wise, third place, 75 points. Not bad at all.
All right, sir. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils and you're a fan of the Muppet Take, please support us on Patreon. We don't have any private sponsors on the podcast. We just ask for you to support us directly because we think that is the way to go when it comes to fan-generated content in 2023. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Tons of benefits there. You can check it out if you visit the page. Also, check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. Great merch. Everything you buy supports the pod and is mailed out by Alex himself out of his garage. We are the small-time garage pod here. Not quite a garage band, but a garage pod, if you will say so. So just support us. We're having a blast doing it. We put our love, sweat, and tears into this team and this pod, and man, it's been a hell of a season. Also, check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com. You can follow us on social. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the American Devils podcast, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. Helps us get found organically by other Muppets like yourself, and even better, we're giving away free merch. All you have to do is write that 5-star review, ideally on iTunes or Spotify, and send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great review, 5 stars from Custom Now, Top Man United, one of the few pods I look forward to hearing when the drop. I am getting to go to Fulham game and love hearing the Muppets Take. Cannot wait to take my first trip across the pond to see them at home. Just hope we don't bottle it. Glory, glory, Man United. Well, it sounds like you got to see a hell of a match. De Gea with a penalty save. Couple great goals.
Penalty save in front of the Stretford end. That would have been unbelievable.
You don't say that every day. And shout out to Gea. You're like, I don't remember the last time he saved some penalties. He saved a couple the last few years. So, like I said, everyone should be going into that game other than Wout, full of confidence. Wout shouldn't touch any grass at Wembley. But De Gea, he's going to be busy. He's going to be busy.
Wout's starting at 10. Mark my words.
God, you swear to God, don't do that to me.
But let's get into before we start the Woutcast, let's get into Manchester United 2, Fulham 1 at Old Trafford. It was today, end of May. What a league. What a way to go. We had the World Cup in between this season. That's why it probably feels like 2 seasons in one. Let's get into that. Starting 11, Dave saves world number 1 in net. He's back. Mojo's back. Everything's back. Just don't make any errors at Wembley.
Oh, my God.
Malacia, Lindelof, Maguire is back in the fold. Delo at right back. Fred, Casemiro, Bruno midfield. Garnacho on the left. Rashford up top. Sancho on the right. What do we make of this starting 11, sir?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think that front 6 is probably who I'd go with. Maybe play an extra midfielder against City. But Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, that's my preferred 3 at the moment. I thought Sancho looked really good on the right in the last game. Garnacho, he's the real deal. And obviously Rashford is Rashford. And then that midfield 3, Fred, I thought he was great today. High work rate, still has a gaff in him. That's Fred. And then the back 4, Shaw needs a blow. AWB needs a blow. Magoo needs one last run out. Last game as a Manchester United player, hopefully kind of picks itself. What do you think, sir, when you saw this 11?
Look, I like it. I think you're right on the rotation. Wan-Bissaka's playing at Wembley. Varane's playing at Wembley. Shaw's playing at Wembley. Lindelof's probably going again. And the one for me, I love to see Fred and Casemiro. Fred and Casemiro, why haven't we seen this more throughout the year? This is the one that puzzled me. Fred spent a lot of time on the bench. We haven't seen this look. Eriksen's kind of been a little shaky, but Eriksen's going to be starting at Wembley. I mean, that's just...
You think? I'm not sure.
I don't know if Fred did enough today to earn the spot, but we're going to see. That's probably the biggest question, but I love the front three. He got the front three dead on.
Nailed
Garnacho starts, Sancho on the right, looked dangerous. The attack seemed to have some mojo today, but before we break down that attack, let's break down this match. United come out a bit sloppy with the ball. Fulham, they were confident. They came into our house in the FA Cup. They had the double red card madness. They were bossing us for 70 minutes at home. So they did kind of come in with some swagger, and we looked a little nervy. 3rd minute, early chance for United, but Delo can't get his cross right. Delo was a little off the mark today for United. 7th minute, nice headed chance for Mitrovic. He ain't messing around. He's physical. He's getting in the box, and it didn't take too long, sir. Fulham would be on target here in the 19th minute, and do I need to tell you how they scored?
Set piece.
Set piece.
Willian then. In it goes. Well, we thought they were going to be dangerous from set pieces, but we maybe didn't think that he was one of those who'd find the net.
It's almost like we didn't defend at all, and that was why I called it a little bit of a wake-up match there, because that was horrid defending from United on the set piece. It was like a free header, and there's nothing De Gea can do about that. Just sad to see us defending so poorly when we have 3rd place up for grabs.
Yeah, I can't defend that. United have not been strong either from an offensive or defensive standpoint as it relates to set pieces in general this season. Haven't scored enough, haven't defended well enough. This, sometimes there's De Gea to blame. He had nothing to blame here. It was like, who's at the front post, wide open, Dunkaroo. That's not how you want to start a game at home. And then it didn't get much better. 6 minutes later, sir?
25th minute, Casemiro drags down a Fulham player in the box. Penalty. Mitrovic steps up to the spot.
Troll City.
You think he's automatic. De Gea is not a penalty specialist, sir. Let's see how it went.
Unbelievable. A 4th penalty of the season that Mitrovic has missed. And will Fulham regret that?
A strong arm from De Gea there, going down to his left side. What a save from De Gea. Big moment of the match. I feel like this is when we got the reaction we needed. The lads were up for it after this point, but before, it was one of those, sleepy starts from United we've seen way too much this season.
Way too much sleepy United, snooze fest. I think this woke the boys up, right? Shout out to Gea, well done, really great penalty save. And I think as soon as this went in, I was like, we're winning this game. You're not going down 2-0, 1-0, we're in it, let's get a goal this half. And De Gea was fired up. And like I said, I think De Gea needs some momentum headed into the final because he's going to be big. He's going to have a big role to play, and he played well today. So shout out to Gea. We didn't have to wait that much longer, sir, right before the first half ended. Let's go United.
But we saw United turning the screws. Our attack looked to have some mojo. We were probing, looking for a way to get in behind. I felt like we could have been a little quicker, a little more direct, but it was exciting play from Manchester United that culminated in the Sancho chance in the 39th minute.
Fred. Sancho scores. He's finishing the season in fine form, Jadon Sancho. And Manchester United level it up at 1-1 in the Old Trafford sunshine.
Well, I would have missed that.
No, he had
to analyze down.
He was good. We don't need to know what
I can't help myself.
No, great finish from Sancho. He was going to go put it on his left boot, but then he realized there was pressure. He poked it in with his right. Fred doing well, penetrating into the box. Jumbled tackle, get lucky. But United, I felt like this goal we earned just because of the pressure we were putting on Fulham. They were really on the edge, and we were able to break through right before half. Great timing, momentum into the locker room. How are the lads feeling?
No, I think that's right. First 20 minutes, we were not 25 minutes, we're not up to it. De Gea's save woke us up, and then United were putting a lot of pressure on Fulham, creating chances, and nice run from Fred. He is going to feature next weekend for sure. I think he will start, and you love to see it because he's got that high work rate. When he's good, he's very good. And today he had a great game, involved in both goals. So shout out Fred the Red and Sancho. Also building a little bit of form at the end of the season. You love to see it because he's got a big price tag, big wages to fill. He played a nice game. The last few games, he's looking good.
I think that's a theme of people playing the right wing. Big price tag. They got a big shoes.
A lot of price tags.
Big shoes. Second half, United more dominant. 47th minute, great chance for United early. Rashford should have put us ahead, but nobody's perfect. Pokes it just wide. But we didn't have to wait too long. In the 55th minute, Bruno.
Beautiful ball. Fernandes. A gorgeous finish. But what about the through ball from Fred? Arguably pass of the season, and a wonderful dink from Bruno Fernandes, and United have turned it around to lead.
I mean, what a pass from Fred, what a finish from Bruno Fernandes, and what a fitting way for us to finish our league. What a comeback for United. Amazing play.
No, absolutely. Bruno has had a couple of these, right? Like, he goes for power when he should just go for finesse. He went for finesse this time. It was a great finish. Great ball from Fred. And you know what? Bruno deservedly gets another goal. He's been such a player for this team week in, week out. Such a contributor. Hasn't had enough goals. I think that will come next season. I think he's going to score more. I think he's going to assist a lot more if we can get a proper number 9. But either way, we got this goal, and it was like, all right, boys, let's switch it up. Let's get some more goals. I feel like there were more goals in this game. We just didn't take advantage of our chances.
67th minute triple sub, Martial, McTominay, and Eriksson for Fred, Casemiro, and Garnacho. Giving you a hint of who's might be playing
good point.
At Wembley. 69th minute, McTominay, big block on Mitrovic. McTominay doing work. 73rd, Leno with a big double save on Rashford and Bruno. Like you said, there were more goals in this. And speaking of more goals, Wout coming on the 77th minute for Marcus Rashford. Wout Weghorst just keeps getting on the field despite not producing for United. It's one of those things where, like, if he wasn't Dutch, I think the manager would probably be done with him. But he's helping his career out. I would like to see kids coming on. I'd like to see Alanga coming on. I'd like to see Facundo coming on. That's the theme of the end of the season when you lock it up. You get the kids in, and instead it's your Dutch buddies. It's the only negative thing I can say about today. 79th minute, Mitrovic headbutts Mollisey on the ground. Should be a red, but you know what? This is Old Trafford. This is England.
That was
it's
bad.
Soft and hard at the same time.
That was bad because he did it. He got set off, right?
It was weird. I don't know.
He headbutted him on the ground, like literally, like we had.
He already got a red this year.
I know,
Old
but
Trafford
because he's a hothead and kind of a
else.
piece of shit. So yeah, he deserves a red because you do that. I wonder.
No,
if
he's just
it's a bad luck.
He's a dog. He's a
beyond
dog.
a dog. He's a wild dog.
84th minute sub, Facundo for Bruno. There you go. You put on the kids, and what happens? 91st minute, amazing chance. Palestri with a big run, looking dangerous. Cross from Sancho to a wide open Wout at the far post, and he hits it wide, which basically sums up his entire United career, which is, what is he doing here? I mean, you know, I could have put that in.
Yeah, this guy's back on the
easy.
pitch.
Laces
Back
through
on
it
the-
across goal,
Put your
like
head on it,
score.
bro.
I mean,
wide open.
it's just, but you know, it's the mystery of Wout Weghorst, the Woutcast. We're starting a new podcast
Woutcast.
this summer. It's
Woutcast.
going to be just following Wout Weghorst. Where's he going?
I can tell you what. I think of Wout. I know it's in his future.
Woutcast.
A lot of podcasts. You know, these players, like, they flame out and then they get a podcast. Facundo created more in 11 minutes than Wout has created in like fucking 25 games.
But why haven't we seen more of Facundo?
I don't know.
Like, that's
and
what I don't
can't
get.
defend that. And this manager, I think,
really
has been
don't.
terrific this season. But these are the ones where, like, maybe it's a little bit of loyalty, feels bad for the guy. But Facundo, obviously, he's not a striker. But, like, who gives a shit? Wout's not a striker. He can't win a header, can't score a goal. This was on a plate to finish his career and, like, have a moment of glory.
It would have been a moment.
It would have been great. Like,
I couldn't
actually
deny him that moment.
I was actually rooting for him. And I'm not rooting for Wout, really, because I'm kind of over Wout. But I was like, come on, bro. It's, like, wide open. There's nobody even there to save it. All you have to do, you hit the target, he scores a goal. Doesn't score a goal. Enjoy Turkey, lad.
No, the best part was the
enjoy it.
enthusiasm he had for shouting for the ball, for how wide open it was, and then what he did.
Perfect
with the
ball.
chance.
It went
And then
right to him.
afterwards, Casemiro was trolling him about it because he was, after the game, he came up to him like, "How did you miss that?" Which I thought was just like a riot.
I bet you Wout's not laughing. That's going to be like
he
a
ain't
nightmare
laughing,
for the
bro.
rest of his life.
No,
Like,
he
literally.
ain't laughing. He'll be like, after that,
0 EPL goals.
after
Zero.
that miss, I went back to Turkey. Then I went to Uzbekistan.
He's
then I
got
went to
China
Kazakhstan.
or
Exactly.
Saudi League.
All right.
Anyway, that was a
We'll
match.
keep you posted on where he goes.
The Wout Watch. Wout Watch.
Wout Watch.
You know what? If the Glazers are around, you might get a Wout. You better, you might keep Wout around, knowing them, bro.
Oh, I know. There's so many. It's a good name. The name that could be like the Woutcast. I love that.
If
Wout
he had
Watch,
scored like 3 EPL
Wout,
goals,
there it is.
United
Like,
fans would have loved. This club.
If he scored like double.
If he scored like 4 goals all day instead of 2, like we would have like loved. There'd be songs for him because this club.
It's like Fellaini. Like
Fellaini was a player, bro.
Fellaini
Don't even
came in.
He was so much better.
No,
than Wout.
I know, but I'm saying like I felt like Fellaini. Nobody won, and he came in. He was just a dog and
Big
scored
time
all
player,
these
bro.
goals.
He scored big
and,
goals
You know,
in
I
big
just felt
games.
like
I love
he earned
Fellaini.
our love. There's a lot of players like that.
Not Wout. See ya.
Yeah, he's.
Smell you later.
You're really setting it up.
I can't help myself.
Match stats: 21 shots from United to Fulham's 10, 8 on target to their 3, 55% of the ball. We dominated them in our house as expected. Match reaction: Bruno Fernandes created 119 chances in the Premier League this season, the highest on record since 2003, 2004 by a Manchester United player in a single campaign. Bruno, you can take our word for it. He is by far our best player.
By far.
If you see him in person, it's unbelievable how his work rate, everything he does. It is also unbelievable how much he complains and whinges and whines and throws his arms up. So it is valid to say both, but you do see both when you see him in person. But it doesn't matter because if you create 119 chances in a single
119.
season, you could do whatever you want. And it's probably because he's playing with Wout.
And we scored 58 goals. We scored 58 goals. He created the most chances in the EPL.
Manchester United conceded 10 goals at home in the Premier League this season, 4 fewer than any other side. It was our away form that really got the best of us. And looking at the table, we're finishing on 75 points in 3rd place. See you later, Newcastle. They did draw Chelsea today, so the win wasn't even necessary by the math. Newcastle finishing 4th at 71. Scouse Bastards in 5th at 67. Enjoy that Europa League.
Thursday night, baby.
Brighton getting Europa League at 62 points, and then Villa as well getting European football
Top
at
7
61.
Villa.
Tottenham do not get European football at 60 points, but if I was them, that's kind of a win. You don't want to be in the Conference League from my perspective. Interesting where they go. Obviously 1 and 2, City, Arsenal. But for Manchester United, the real standout stat when looking at the end of the season has to be that goal differential. You have to go to Villa to get a worse one down in 7th place. Newcastle 35, Liverpool 28, and they had a bad season. Arsenal 45, City 61, 15 for United, and that's just not a good number. We had the win totals, 23.
Didn't
6
score enough
draws,
goals. Didn't score enough goals.
9 losses. It was we didn't score enough.
58
really.
goals. Like Newcastle scored 10 more. Liverpool scored 75. Brighton 72.
Yeah, goals against were
Villa less, but otherwise Tottenham were more. Brentford were the same amount in 9th. And Jesus Christ, that's the difference. Like we've gotten blown out in some games, but
our attack is on par with Brentford, Fulham, and Aston Villa, who had a really bad start to the season. You look at City, goals scored 94. We had 58. I mean, you're right. It's like the conceded, our defense is right in line with the top. Arsenal 43 conceded, United 43 conceded, Newcastle 33 conceded, City 33 conceded. I mean, that's just stupid, but our defense was up there. It's our attack that really let us down. And you look at, unfortunately for United, we have spent the money on the attack and we don't have the players. That's really the problem with, like, you know, when you look at Sancho costing 80 million, when you look at Antony costing 80 million, there's almost 200 million you spent on like one position and you're getting no return on your money.
You know,
it's really a staggering the amount of money that we've spent and we don't have the return in our attack. And you look at our Martial not having a striker. Now Levy wants 100 million for Kane. We're going to talk about all the summer transfer muppetry, but if you just had to grade the league, and this is not the season recap pod, this is just the initial gut reaction. You got to grade it A, B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, F, and you get plus minus. What are you giving our grade for the league this season?
I mean, for the league, I'm giving us an A-. You know, like give a guy a second, bro. You can give me your crap take after I give my crap take. You remember how we finished last year? We finished, what, 6th, 7th? I don't even remember.
That was like an F, right?
6.
A, a D.
It was like a D, right? We had no basically fit striker. Tony Martial came back from Sevilla. Ronaldo fell off a cliff. Wout Weghorst can't even he shouldn't be the ball boy at this club. And we lost our first 2 games of the season, got dominated. We had some good signings, right? Casemiro, Martinez, Eriksson played very well for the first half, slowed down a lot in the second half. Even Anthony played well in the first half of the season, less so in the second half of the season. And we've been through a shit ton of matches. We played more matches than anybody else in Europe, I believe. The most matches United's play in like a decade. And we finished in 3rd by 4 points. Nobody was counting us to finish in 3rd. Maybe a sniff of the Champions League, like if things went our way. So I think he did terrific, all things considered. We could have been a little bit closer to Arsenal.
I didn't say grade on expectations. I'd say grade looking back, the whole thing,
Context is everything. You have to context how we finished last season. How did this season go? It was a long season. We had a World Cup in between.
A-, that's a big. That's a A-.
You rate it however you want. That's Alex's take, bro. This is a podcast. Go for it. Give me your take. F.
I'm not that salty, by the way.
You are the king of the salt.
No, I'm just saying, you have to take. I would look if you look at all back to 1878 and you grade United
that's
seasons.
That's not what we're doing.
And you're going to say an A is win the league by a solid margin. A-, you could win the league and have an A- is what I'm trying to say. If you think of all the grades.
If you won the league on goal differential, you'd give yourself an A- because you have to win it by a good margin.
No, I'm saying there's a scenario where you could grade a league and get an A- and win. I think because maybe it could have been better. But
I'd love to see us win a league and you give us an A- because your kids are screwed. You can come back with A-. You're gonna be like, what is this shit?
You win the league, most likely you have an A 99% of the time. I'm saying it's not out of the possibility you can give an A- win the league. Now, I got to give us a B. I give us a B. A B is a solid grade. It is a good grade, right? And the reason you get a B is because we did what we based on. You have a horrible last year. We do some deals, and then you're like, okay, what do we? Now the manager gets an A. Ten Hag, if I'm giving him a grade, how did he do? He gets an A because he managed all the nonsense. For United, we get a B because we kind of did what expectations led. We had enough of a lead to get top 4, and we got it. We almost bought the 3rd place was a given, and we almost slipped on the banana peel, almost slipped down to 5th, right? So we did what we should have done. And for me to get into the A territory, it's when we had a sniff at Arsenal, could have beat them, we would have gotten over the line. In big moments where there was pressure, going to Newcastle away, we lost big. We could have been in a title race. We didn't have the legs. So I feel it's a B. That's a good grade.
I don't rate seasons in a vacuum. I don't think I'm not just looking at paper and seeing points on the board versus any other season. I'm talking about last year and everything that happened this year. So I give it an A-, you give it a B. Who gives a shit at the end of the day? We're 3rd place. You never would have thought we were going to finish in 3rd place.
That's facts.
You
That's
thought
facts.
7th,
If I'm
bro.
saying
I said 6th.
There's we left something on the table this season.
Matters to me.
I understand. No, we left something on the table this season.
You overperformed.
I feel like we definitely Newcastle away. That was Southampton.
We finished 4 points
West
ahead of
Ham.
them. We had the best form in the league finishing the season. 4 wins on the trot, bro. We're better than everybody else. 4 wins on the trot. I'm just saying,
yeah, City drew and lost after they won the league. Yes, that is.
I'm just making a factual point about. Yes, of course, we let up in February, March, because the team was fucking gassed and we had no bodies. They didn't strengthen in January. They brought in Wout Weghorst. And, Sir Captain Jack Sparrow is headed back to Bayern.
By the way, I think B's a good grade. I think 3rd is a good finish. You're trying to make it sound like it's a bad one. But it's for me, A is win the league. A- is probably 2nd. With a close 2nd, pushed City to the line. B+ is probably us being in the mix a little more. And B is probably hey, we did our job. We got it. We got it over the line. Good job to the lads. I mean, this for United, this season's not about ultimately the result. And we're gonna get to the Erik ten Hag speech right now. This is about the manager coming in, sorting all the bullshit. I mean, he came in with people leaving early, post preseason, the Ronaldo drama. He went toe to toe with literally, we're arguing the most famous person in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo, just a planet. He went toe-to-toe with the planet and shipped them out, and now he's looking like a moron in Saudi Arabia. United is doing well. I mean,
play better.
Ten Hag, his stock went up by a mile. Bossing Ronaldo. If he bossed Ronaldo at Old Trafford and we cratered to like ninth, he would be gone.
Yeah.
He bossed him at Old Trafford. We got better.
Hence my A-.
And then he had to like deal with Sancho, sending him away.
Remember that?
Like then the ownership sale.
Injuries.
Everything.
Wow.
And my criticism when we boss Ronaldo, being a Ronaldo Muppet, was you are not going to get somebody better than him in because they're not going to give you the money. And obviously, you get rid of Ronaldo, you get Wout, and you still finish third. Hats off to the manager. A+ for Erik ten Hag. You can't grade it any better. And what he's done is he put United on a springboard, ready to go challenge next season. And the problem is there's headwinds with the boardroom and the sale and everything, but he has this organization back on track. He's the main man at Old Trafford. He's the main man at Manchester United. He's got a grip of this locker room. I feel like he's a leader amongst men. You have that vibe. There's going to be players that are going to go, but I am very happy with our manager, and that's really everything we've needed for the last decade is we needed a guy like Erik ten Hag.
We needed a company man. We need a man who could do everything because this club is not built like top clubs around Europe where they have a structure. It's like we were done that way under Fergie. It was all about him. He did have Gil next to him. He had a competent deputy. Now Fergie and Erik ten Hag are two different cases because Erik ten Hag don't have no competent deputy. He's got the Paella brothers running around. But I tell you what, we're about to hear his speech at the end of the season, last game at OT. He looks the part. He sounds the part. He's garnered the respect. We're lucky to have him, sir. And Erik ten Hag we trust. Let's hear from the bald fraud himself on that beautiful pitch.
I want to say thank you to our players. I think they play a brilliant season. I want to thank you, and also they get supported by the staff. I want to also thank you to the staff. They did also a magnificent good job. Secondary, I want to thank you all. We felt a really strong bound during the season at Old Trafford and also away. So I want to thank you for the season, for the contribution, for the backing us, for the support, and it was great. And so thank you. Say these words, there's still one game to go. So, and I'm sure that these players will give everything to beat Manchester City next week at Wembley. So, and we count on you as well. They will give everything when you are in our back. I'm sure we have a really good chance to take the cup back to Old Trafford.
There we go. There we go. That's a war cry.
Is that getting you fired up? That gets me fired up.
Hey, that's a war cry. That's the war cry we needed. I did have some words for his presser, like maybe we might. They're a good team, but that sounded more like the manager of Manchester United to me. We're gonna fight. These players are gonna give it all against City, and we're gonna try to bring the cup back to Old Trafford. And that's what I want. That's all I want. The war cry from the boss. And, the fans just love it. They eat it up, sir. They eat it up. Great words from our manager. Inspirational stuff from Erik ten Hag. I feel something about this FA Cup final. I'm usually Mr. Pessimistic, but I feel like the elements coming into this one, it's like City knows that we're going to be up for it. And I think Erik ten Hag he's going to tinker. We're going to be up for it. And players like Bruno and Rashford, they can steal a match in a flash.
Sir, I agree with you. The universe is perfect in many ways, and he just he gives you. He's a goofy bastard. He's a goofy Dutch bastard, but he is
exactly.
He's the real fucking deal. He is the real deal. He knows what he's doing. You would not think about it. You look at him. Spurs are like
it
this
doesn't
guy,
make sense.
It does not make sense.
No,
it's like this guy's got no charisma, but he's literally like a tactical genius. People talk about him like this guy knows a football match, and that's not the point. The point is, he gets what it means to be Manchester United, to be a fan, to be a player, to be the staff, to be the fucking coach. And he gets it, and he owns it, and he understands what this club cares about, and that is being in the pinnacle of it. And we're not there yet, but teams that are expected to win as a foregone conclusion, like City is next weekend at Wembley, that gives me a little bit of hope. Is because like whenever it's a team that's like, oh, they're gonna win. Dude, you should have heard Rebecca Lowe talking about us playing them. Like they got no chance. They're gonna get blown out. We might, but this is still Manchester United. And like you said, we have world-class players on our team. If we show up and fight them for every ball, we'll be in it all game. We have to show up from the jump, because if it takes you 20 minutes to get in the game, they could bury you early. And so it's like, we got to just show up. Woo, everything to play for, and I'm proper pumped because third place is a great achievement for this team.
No, but it's like anytime you get into a sports situation,
It's going to be nervy.
You're
You're going to be shitting yourself next weekend.
No, you're so long over the odds that there literally is no pressure on
Exactly.
you.
We have no
That's
pressure.
the whole point. It's like when City gets to the precipice of the treble, and that is just going to be on their minds because it's almost like a foregone conclusion. They like when you have to win based on expectations. Even when we won the treble in '99, it was like United might be able to do it, right? But it was still Bayern Munich. You know,
We won the league in the last game of the game.
No,
the
exactly.
FA was
It
hard.
all came together like serendipitously. But like with City, it's like they've already won the treble, right? And based on like them,
Everyone's talking about it like it's already done.
and there's almost more pressure to that. And with the United, it's like, hey, you're going to lose by like 7. That's kind of what everyone thinks. So there is less pressure to it. And I feel like we're a dangerous team, and we have beaten them this season. We already know that coming in, and I just feel that, you know, there's something to play for in this FA Cup final. You know, if hey, look, we concede 2 and De Gea has a howler by minute 20. Yeah, see you later. You know,
Football lasted.
but there's a chance. There's a chance we're gonna shock them.
It's Saturday. We're going to do the preview later this week, but just as an FYI, just because it should be in your calendar already. It's Saturday. Next Saturday, June 3rd, 7 a.m. Pacific, early for an FA Cup final, 10 a.m. Eastern. There are strikes. We saw it on the ground. They like to strike all of a sudden in England. England's the new France, apparently, as it comes to rail strikes. So if you're local, I know they're running buses from OT, but it should be a hell of a final. I'd love to be in London for it.
No, it's brutal.
It's insane.
Like we did the trip to Old Trafford for Wolves the day after the train strike, and it was still like there was barely trains, and the trains you got, they sold your seat. They literally, we booked seats. You pay to book seats, and they sell your seat, double booked you, and then you got to stand. And I messaged them. There was like, "Don't worry about it, bro." And I'm like, "What? Like this is just Looney Tunes." How poorly organized the train situation is. So shout out to all the United fans traveling down because it's going to be such a long bus ride back. Well, hopefully we're bouncing on the way back after defeating Shitty. Sir, we do have the odds here. They're going to be updated. You want to give them the betting odds here?
I thought that was a good idea, actually, because they might move. You would think because they're fucking wide, bro. City minus 220 to win, plus 350 to go to extra time, and plus 475 times your money for United to win in regular time.
And just remember, when we put money on Everton for City to beat Everton, and we made money on that.
That was over 100. That was like
no,
even.
I know it was plus 135
Yeah,
for City to beat Everton, and we're minus 220. That's kind of giving you the tone. It's basically like you're done.
I mean, that was
Before you walk
Ladbrokes,
in.
and this is U.S. betting, but even still, I think you're right. It's like nobody's giving United a chance. United's always got a chance, baby. That's the thing. We're Manchester United. We're not going to roll over.
Let's go. Let's get in some news, sir. United in the news. All right, talking takeover. Manchester United ownership bid. Sir Jim Ratcliffe remains the leading candidate to buy the club. This is per Sky News. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is still the leading candidate to buy Manchester United. The directors of United's New York listed holding company met on Thursday to discuss the product of the club's $5 billion plus auction. Sheikh Hassim of Qatar has made an approved offer, but Ratcliffe remains number one. Look, twists and turns, brain damage, everything. That's what this sale process is going to be. As fans, we obviously want it to happen sooner rather than later.
You sick of this yet?
Give some clarity. Not at all. I'm not even focused on this.
Right.
This is just the
Very, very stoic of you. I'm not even, whatever happens. I love
But
it.
here's control what you can control. Yelling at Eric Ten Hag into a microphone about playing Wild Weghorst, that's going to make a difference. Talk about the ownership change? No, it's not.
He's
just
a listener.
kidding.
He is a listener after all.
Just kidding. But this one, it's just like, let's focus on the City game. something in the summer. You're going to find out if they're going to sell it or not in the summer. That's basically what's going to happen. As far as when, nobody knows. So I would imagine the Glazers will screw over United as they have for the last, bit of part of 2 decades.
Like half your life. Half your life they've been screwed United.
I would think they're not going to just turn around and not make it about money or, worry about United's transfer targets. Speaking of United transfer targets, Antony has good opportunity to be fit for the FA Cup final. Interesting here, he went down like he broke his ankle. Turns out he could be fit for the FA Cup final. I said we're going to need him. We're going to need people off the bench. We're going to need a lot of opportunities. But given the fact that we saw Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, would you rather that 3 than put Antony or maybe drop Garnacho? What are you thinking against City if Antony is available?
I want him as an option. That's the thing. Is like if we don't have him, we get low on options because you don't want to be like relying on Wout for a luff ball when he can barely finish a tap in. I don't think Antony should start. I think he's been a little bit off recently. I mean, he's been more than a little bit. He hasn't been. He should be scoring like double the amount of goals he's had this year. He's had some good chances, good build up. He should have had an assist.
He's had the most
March-
XG for United, I believe, as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He should have been like finishing more and also like. He doesn't always have to try and score. Like he's had good opportunities to pass the ball. He actually had a good pass to Martial, and he just flubbed it. So at the moment, your best 3 is probably the one you saw today. It's probably Rashford up front. He's the best striker we got. I really enjoyed watching Sancho on the right. I think he's starting to play with a little confidence. I think him with Wan-Bissaka is a good combo. And then if Luke's got to be back, but he might play center back to be fair. I would not play Lindelof. I'd play Shaw again at center back with Molossi on the left. I probably play Garnacho. You play Martial up front and Rashford on the left. He might do that. Garnacho, he has that dynamic element off the bench. It's a hard one for me, but I would definitely bench Antony. It's just that do you play Martial?
Well, he's
or
also
do you
coming
play
off
Garnacho?
injury, so I think if the narrative actually works well, where it's like, hey, he's not 100%, so he's gonna be on the bench, so his ego isn't bruised, etc. But look, I gotta hold my hand up. I gotta say, Antony, you know what? I'm sorry, Anthony. I've given him like some lashes, this season, and I'm like, I gotta hold my hand up high.
He's got a winner in him. He's the difference. He can come on and get a squeaky winner.
I gotta hold my hand up high and say, my bad. Like, sorry, Anthony. Like, hey, we got people listening to this pod apparently, so I gotta also own my
You sliced them. You sliced them to bits.
No, but United's personal. The problem with this is can we get an 80 million pound man that can score? Like, Jesus Christ, I'm dying over here. If he wasn't the 9th guy we paid top dollar for and have him be a bum, it's it's just brutal.
Bum. You got the bum in.
No, but it's just you got Lukaku, you got Magoo, you got even Di Maria to a certain extent. It's you get pumped for these guys. You're paying top Sancho. You're paying Pogba, top dollar for these guys. We used to buy people on deals and it would come into Old Trafford and just boss people like Berbatov, 30 million just comes in you'd love to see these guys come into Old Trafford, this worldwide stage, and just dazzle, score some goals. Mojo's back, baby. But it's been rough go for these top dollar signings. Almost like signing people for top dollar. Not a great business.
No.
Not a good business. No. So we shouldn't do it. We should be getting guys like Matoma who are tricky for cheap. It's just, and you're right. It's nothing to do with Antony. It's everything to do with the price tag. That's right. Everything to do with the Glazers. But man, you want these big money guys, these big Brazilian, big money attackers to just come through. And it's been a rough season for them. I have my hopes up for next year. Even Jack Grealish for $100 million didn't hit the ground running for City.
No, he didn't
for a season.
And no one talked about it too.
But Antony's calves were not anything like Jack Grealish.
York City Cavs. Antony, if he was a $40 million player, nobody would complain. $80 million is going to be very difficult to live up the price. $80 million's changed. All right. I felt a little bit better when I saw that kid Murdoch. Oh my God. He was even more. And he's one of the worst players I've ever seen. Antony, he's got that dog in him. I think he'll be a player. I think he'll contribute, score goals. He needs to be a little bit smarter with his passing. And I have to agree with you. So we're going to talk about big money players in a second. But this whole buy-in winger or a player from another league. I mean, we did that with Maguire, I guess, too. I just think we got to stop paying so fucking much for players. It's unless he's Erling Haaland, $100 million, and we're going to talk about it in a second around Harry Kane. I think we need to stop paying so much for these players because
No,
you're
but if you
wasting
pay
so
for
much
them-
of your budget, and then like if it doesn't go
you
right,
can
you're
pay, but you have to de-risk it. So it's like if
Yeah,
you
in the
want
league.
exactly. So it's like if you wanted to pay like $60 million for Matoma, it wouldn't be crazy because he's done in the league. If you want to pay for Madison, it's not crazy because he's done in the league.
What about Harry
It's
Kane?
the $80 million for an Ajax winger
it's
who's
true.
very young, and that's the whole thing. Is it's like I actually think Anthony is not like Sancho. Who knows? We got these sagas around players we pay. Like it's like also fans should be rightfully questioning what the hell is going on in United when you're paying that much money for Jadon Sancho, and it's been how long? Like we're just supposed to pay guys and just have them not show up. It's crazy how bad it's gotten at Old Trafford. And you pay that type of money, like they got to hit the ground running. I mean, like 80 million's like plug and play. Let's go. And it's been nothing but for United, unfortunately, and it's been a rough go. And you know, Anthony with Eric Ten Hag, you have to think there's something there.
Yeah.
Like he's his manager's boy, and he's got a great work rate. Plus, he's on the Brazilian national team, so I think he'll figure it out.
He's young.
I just think
He is
England's
young.
a big
22.
step up,
It
and
is.
paying big money for players who don't have that experience in England. I think that's where Fergie always bought England in England. You know, he bought young, international, bring him in the fold, and then it was the proven in England. Like you buy the Harry Kane. And talking about Harry Kane, Levy
yeah, you get
won't even do it for 100 mil, which is just insane. 100 million pounds. Levy won't even do it, and that's where it's getting. This could be posturing. So again, you're seeing the Muppet take. I think Ornstein from The Athletic is like, it's going to take more than 100 million. Well, it was going to take more than 100 million when he had, 3 years left on his deal or 2
got
years left on
12
his
months
deal.
left.
So I think he has less time on his deal and it's going to take just the same amount of money. And like I said, I rate Harry Kane, but I absolutely, doing business with Daniel Levy is just don't even do it. And that's that's basically it. Don't even do it.
it's like Barca. It's like they just
It's a shame.
There's a pain. Here's the
80
thing.
million would be such a reasonable
I
price.
would say 70, 80. Like if you got him for like the amount you paid for, I was thinking about it. It's like who's a player we paid over the odds and it's been a hit. And I would say the last player we did was last summer, Casemiro. We overpaid for Casemiro, but he's been worth it. He's been terrific. He had a little dip after his double suspensions, but in the last 3 weeks, he's back to his world-class level. He's unfucking believable. Harry Kane, he will score goals for United. He will score a lot of goals for United. He
You
scored
can't go north of
28
100 though for a
No,
1 year.
no,
'cause
you're-
the 1 year has to be.
He's
the
like
whole
75
thing.
million pounds. Like 1 year left. That's a generous 100 million. You're insane.
It should be 50. I mean,
It
like
should
the whole
be.
thing. We got
we
RVP
paid
for what 20
27 million pounds for RVP. He had I think he had a year or two left in
was
his
a year. It was
contract.
a year.
They did not want to pay for it. The Glazers said we will not pay for it. Fergie said, I swear to God, I'll fucking go nuclear if you don't pay for it. They did. They won the league. We won the league because we had RVP. We need everything else to go right. But
Harry
if we-
Kane isn't as good as RVP.
No,
by the
he's
way.
not. But he's very good. He is elite. He's an elite striker. Like he's up there.
Well,
he might not be as
all
good.
I'm
as,
saying
he's
is-
not as pure of a finisher, but he's probably better in build-up play than RVP was. He's a very good player, and I don't want to call it that. And he's soft serve FC, but he plays for one of the biggest Botland teams of all time in Spurs. He would have an edge around. He'd be playing with Casemiro and Bruno
No,
and
we
Rashford
all
and
want Harry
Martinez and-
Kane. I'm just saying that the news came out today about the valuation of
100
Harry
million's
Kane,
crazy.
and guess what? Hey, this whole Harry Kane discussion we've had for the last 60 days, it's gone. We are not paying that much money. By the way, we don't even have that much money,
Right.
to be able to afford a player like him. But at that valuation, you just say on to the next one,
Right.
and you go down the list. Next one here. Declan Rice, West Ham won 120 million. So
Smell
again,
ya. Smell
see
ya
you
later.
later.
Yeah.
Arsenal offered 90 million pounds.
He's worth
and
half that, bro. He's a very good player,
But-
but he's worth 60 million.
It's a strategy to just make
It's also
ridiculous.
these England players are overpriced.
Okay, here's also the real rub of the whole nonsense is. It's a time value. You start the transfer window, every price is going to be insanely high because it's pay me an insane amount. Now you get to the end of the window and then you're talking about really doing deals. So if you want to get someone early, there's going to be a premium that is paid. And sometimes there's a premium paid at the end of the window, like in the Antony situation where Ajax sold so many players that they said, if you want another one, it's going to have to be stupid. And we did go stupid.
Yep.
That was more unique. Usually you have to pay more in the beginning of the window, and then at the end you could do some deals because, look, Leicester City is the team you should be looking at. I mean, James Maddison, we're looking for an attacking midfielder. We were flirting with Sabitzer. James Madison's the real deal, done in the EPL. He's a real player. I think he's the Eriksen replacement. I'd love to get him at United. 50 million price tag. That is a good deal. Fergie would be looking. bargain buys on the relegation-bound teams. James Madison.
Tielemans is free, bro. He's
I
out
know.
of his contract.
But Tielemans ain't that good.
No, he's not.
You know,
No, he's
so like
not.
James
No, he's
Madison is good.
He's got
He
some
is
injuries.
A very good player.
He's had some injury problems. He's a very good player. He's had some injury problems. He was the player we were looking at before we got Bruno. I'm glad we got Bruno. I think Bruno is miles ahead, but he'd be a great deputy. He's getting up to, I think, like 27. I like Romeo Lavia from Southampton. We will not get him because we have a bunch of morons running our front office. He would be a great signing. You got to pick through the relegated teams. There's a lot of talent between Leicester, Southampton. How old is he?
26. James Madison's 26.
He's got injury issues. I think we need a backup, if anyone. We need a backup to freaking Casemiro because he goes down. He got unfortunately got McFred with cheese. I would take him, but I agree with you.
He's played 29 matches. He's played 29 games in the Premier League. I mean, so that's not that from an injury perspective. It's not,
missed a quarter of the games.
I can go down the United list. That's pretty good.
I'm not saying the United list is sparkling. It's not bad. It's not like Neymar's record for injuries. He's got a hell of an injury record. Here's the thing. We're talking directionally correct is what I'm talking about. Is like you should be going for the teams that have talent that got relegated and pick through them because United need players, and between Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds is probably no one you really want. McKennie's going to Brighton.
We need to stretch our dollar.
You go to the players that are getting relegated because they're desperate.
Yes.
You think Leicester's they'll take $50 million because they're going to be playing in the championship next year.
No, that's absolutely right, sir. Look, we transfer Muppetry. So for anyone who's new to the podcast, what we do is we're gonna have the FA Cup final pod. We'll do a preview midweek, then we'll recap that. Then we usually take a week, and then we get into the season recap. So we let everything kind of simmer, let everything die down, and then we do a proper season recap, go through by month exactly
player
how
awards.
Everything went, player awards, etc. So that's going to give you the preview, and then it's just straight into the transfer Muppetry that we all love. We hop on the mic during the summer. Alex will be in summer vacations, different locations, and we just talk transfer nonsense. And there's going to be sale nonsense. There's going to be transfer nonsense. So stick with the American Red Devils.
There's always something to talk about. It's
Manchester
Manchester United, baby.
All right, jumping into fan questions here. And just a big thank you to everyone who supported us and listened to us all season. It's been a hell of a season. The ups and downs, losing our minds with this great club, but we absolutely love it. At Rolling Deep 1995, most clean sheets, third fewest goals against, no striker, thin squad. Erik ten Hag does it again. We didn't look world-class, but we sure showed a lot of fight. Sancho and Fred were in rare form today, but I think there's no doubt that Wout should be out. FA Cup next. Hashtag Let's go. Out. Absolutely love these fans. At United Jazz and Film, Sirs, he took a video here. He was at Old Trafford of Casemiro giving Wout an earful at full time when Erik ten Hag was getting the boys together. Casemiro just laughing at him missing that chance. I know that's the dog.
That's savage.
Casemiro's a dog.
He's a player.
He knows. And he goes on to say, Sirs, Old Trafford in fine form. Lots of Viva ten Hag as it should be with a top four, a trophy, and a final. Great finish to the season. At D_Cole18, quote, what are your thoughts on if the Glazers do stay? Rating the relegated clubs for Madison, Tyler Adams, Lavia, Ward-Prowse to flesh out the midfield with some cheap and good signings. Also, 4 to 5 signings if we get new owners in time to spend big this summer. What do you say?
I mean, I think whether you get the Glazers staying around, which is probably more likely, or you get a new owner that hopefully puts in really smart, that's all I want. Just put in really smart people that have a lot of experience doing it at top clubs. Don't pick guys who are an understudy to the worst CEO probably in the history of the Premier League in Ed Woodward. So I'd be going for a Lavia. I'd go because Tyler Adams, bro, he's not great, but we need 3 strikers. Martial's no good, Wout's gone, and Rashford should play on the left. So honestly, we need a bunch of strikers. So we should be signing pedigree, our Kane, but we should also be supplementing it with pots and pans from relegated teams because you can get value. So I think it's a great strategy, but our club is run by morons. They're going to leave everything late. They're not going to want to spend. I think the only way they will spend if it's not new owners is if they decide we're staying around and then the fans just go ballistic like they likely will.
No, this could be horrific. So just
it's It's always horrific.
It's fun.
It's always horrific.
It's fun. Like we're playing like FIFA Manager right now, talking about like who should we sign, what should we do, da 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 da. Like that's fine. What's really going to happen is the sale process is going to drag. Glazers are going to do nothing because they don't have to, and until you get a readout on the ownership, then you have the deal has to close. And that takes months. So, like, once you agree to terms on a deal to close the deal, like, you think, like, trying to come up with analogies for people to understand this, like, closing on a house can take, weeks, months. Closing on a $6 billion asset takes 6 months. It takes a long time. And while you're closing, you, like, preset negotiations on, like, working capital. So, like, the cash is kind of frozen, and there's limitations on how you operate your business, because that way the Glazers could just take all the money out, leave scraps for the new owner. So everything's negotiated up front. And so it's going to be really interesting in how this deal is negotiated and communicated to fans, because as the Glazers still own the club and they're working to close it, they're going to have to run this team, and there's going to be limitations and parameters on, like, honestly, what could be done. I'm sure there's going to be a pre-negotiated transfer budget, net spend, like that all is going to be negotiated up front. And that's why this is a very complicated deal, where I said, hey, the Qatari deal could look a lot different from Ratcliffe at the same price for all of these reasons. And so it's just something where, unfortunately, I do think our net spend is going to be in the region of 80 million, maybe 50 million. It's going to be really lame net spend. We're going to come out of the gate trying to sell. We all know how United sells, and it's going to be really tough. Short of like an all cash deal done in a day, you're going to see this impact our window. And the new owners really won't be able to put a stamp on the club till next January. That's really how it's going to go. The summer's already gone. Because summer's like we start playing in August. It's over. It's like the deal had to be closed like in March.
You don't even have a new DOF in or a new CEO.
No,
you have like
it's going to take a long
have the same
time.
numpty crew,
but it's worth it to get the Glazers out.
No,
That's
it
what
is.
I'm trying to say.
So
it's just going to be a rough summer.
It'll take a while, and honestly, like if there is a sale, the most likely you're going to see like a proper front office like kicking ass and taking names like we know we can. We've been gotten fucking taken advantage of for a decade and made to look like fools and pissed through $1 billion with very little to show for it. It's probably next summer. January is very tough to do deals in.
No, but they will do it because any new owner is going to just like
splash
because they want to set the tone. So like the whole idea is like you're waiting for.
But it's tough
even if
for
Ratcliffe
value.
was like, "Hey, I want to close this deal as fast as possible. I want to be able to buy players for the end of the transfer window." They would literally, the bankers and lawyers would be like, "That can't happen."
Right.
Like it's more of a mechanical thing of the deal than it is anything. So it's just gonna screw this summer for United, and I hate to say that, but I do think. Right, like it's almost like the summer might go better if the Glazers don't agree to a sale before. If they agree the deal, then you have all these like working capital contingents, and actually the deal there were more hamstrung. So it's better for the Glazers to try to do the deals early. But again, they have no incentive to do that because they only care about money. So at the end of the day, hey, we're gonna keep you posted here, but it's gonna be very interesting how this plays out. At Love the Bulls 18, out of all the top 4 teams, United were the better side. Think about it. Injuries hurt them. They didn't have enough money for transfers. So settling with what they had, Erik ten Hag's first season, and to be able to pull through top 4 in a trophy, this speaks volumes. I think this is a great angle. It is true. You look at who else got top 4. Eddie Howe had money, been there for a year. Pep, obviously infinite monies. And then Arteta's been there for a long time, spent a lot of money. So
Arsenal's been spending money. They have a good front office. They've been spending well, and he's been there for year 3 or year 4. He's first year in the job. Liverpool, we beat them once. Yeah, they bested us, but we beat them in the table. Newcastle, they've recruited well. They've played well. They've got a better defense than we do, but we beat them in the table, and we beat them in the EFL Cup final. We're the 3rd best team in England. We want to be the 1st best team in England, but we're making progress. And Erik ten Hag, he's ahead of schedule, bro. He is ahead of schedule.
No, absolutely. And at Jamal Mota, sirs, Erik ten Hag, take a bow. 1 loss at home, only 9 goals scored. Became a fortress. 1 cup top 3, and 1 more final to beat our cheating rivals. Dave Golden Glove plus Marcus with 30. Phenomenal season. A foreign feeling of late, but this feels good. He must be backed. New owners now. We're going to end it on that one. What a season. Appreciate all the American Red Devils listening week in, week out.
Yeah, no more
I don't
of that.
think that's
no
gonna
more
go
of that.
away.
That's not sticking. I wanted that to stay. I wanted that to have staying power.
Look, if you like the America Devils, you like the Muppet Take, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/America Devils, americadevils.store, americadevils.com, socials. Like, subscribe, everything helps us out, sir. Give us our top 10 cities last 7 days here.
Number one, how you doing? How you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, New York, Toronto, Canada, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, Florida, Philly, PA, and last but not least, Charlotte, North Carolina. Appreciate all the America Devils listening week in, week out. Have a great weekend. To all the Reds out there, to those of you who have Monday off in the States, enjoy it. Enjoy the barbecue, hot dogs, and hamburgers all around. Top 4, top 3 finish, and everything to play for next weekend at Wembley, baby. Let's make it red. Let's make London red. That would be a hell of an end to a season, wouldn't it be?
Come on, United. We'll be back with the preview pod midweek. Everyone have a great holiday. Cheers.
Voor je huis, we gaan naar Duitsland.